What's up, YouTube? Vicinic Productions here.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the podcast universe. We are here on tap with the boys. Oh, we're not with the boys anymore. I heard you
not with the boys.
Bashing people.
Outside of the boys.
Yeah.
We're outside of the boys now.
You really took a dictatorship over everybody and how they say things. I see it.
Absolutely. You gotta run a tight ship. Loose lips sink ships.
When I haven't been here for like 3 months, but when I left, this was a small business. Now this thing's a corporation, dude.
Dude, we did kind of make it corporate.
I disagree. I think it's a extremely well-functioning machine now.
Yeah, you think that because you're chairman of the board. That's why you think that way.
Okay, I'd like to think what you're getting at is I would love to reap the rewards of a chairman where I don't have to do anything, but I'm not going to lie, brother. Mm-hmm. I'm putting in my work right now.
Okay, so
I'm putting in the time.
So you're chairman and Sam is PR, the PR guy?
I'm creative director.
Creative director? Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I think I put 40 hours a week into this.
Oh, fuck, for sure. I mean, you put over 40 a while ago, and now it's way more.
I mean, it's definitely a lot more efficient. It used to take me 10 hours to edit a podcast, and now it's 20 minutes,
dude.
If that.
Yeah. Well, when we first started, it was you would say it was 12 hours total to edit shit because we would say some stuff that had to be cut out. A lot.
Just the beers were flowing back then, and just the vulgarities were present.
The times of the swear jar, dude. Lawless.
Unreal. Go back and look at those. We got to reminisce.
But this is not one of those episodes.
This is not.
This
Welcome
is
back to another episode of Blue Collar Happy Hour. We have here the man, the myth, the legend, the most requested guest that we've ever had to come on at Blue Collar Happy Hour.
Is it requested or more just people concerned about my well-being?
No, they don't really care how you are. They really just want you to be on here.
I will say, and I do want to shout out. I'm very grateful for everybody that reached out to me when Sam said things about why I was gone and stuff. I'm really appreciative for the people that reached out. It felt a lot of love from the viewers.
The OnTap community is just an absolute
great.
Dude, a lot of people were worried. They're like, you guys beefing with Tyler? Is there something going on? What's the deal?
Well, it was a mix between Cody sexually assaulting me and then Sam doing tax evasion. But other than that, it was
true. We pushed you out, man.
Yeah.
And we put you in a tough spot. Yeah. But now we're back.
I was telling Cody though on Saturday, I'm like, dude, you ditched the dead weight. Look at the numbers now. Because there's a direct correlation. Dude.
Yeah, dude, we fire Tyler and the numbers skyrocket.
Dude, we bring in a smelly overweight lineman and we're fucking going, dude. We're fucking ripping.
So where does he fit on the board? Is he the is he the head of the janitorial section?
Yeah, I would say if anything, he is.
Is he here? No.
That'd be so fucking awkward, bro. Hey, but at least he bailed me out. I couldn't think of a good joke, so
you were pulling
it worked out at the end of the day.
Fishing.
Yeah, dude, I'm just praying somebody interrupt me right now.
You started a sentence without knowing the ending.
Oh, dude, I thought it was gonna come.
I do that way too often.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Tyler, we got you on here. Well, less about coming and more about dirt work.
More going.
Tyler, we got you on here. Mm-hmm. We got you on here not to just have a few beers, but to talk about your career. What do you do? What do you do for a living? What's the blue collar shit that you're into?
So officially my title is I'm a mass grading foreman. So most people have no idea what that means and everyone looks at me weird when I say it. So officially, it's a heavy equipment operating is what I'd say. But now I have shifted in the past 3 years to being the foreman of it and coordinating the moving of mass amounts of dirt. So.
Actually, I had a friend who used to work in an Olive Garden that was also a mass grading foreman. Because
he did a lot of Parmesan cheese. Did you write this joke before this, you fucker? Dude?
I just thought when you just said grading now, I was like,
man, you quick with it today, Cody.
Man,
I'm funny. That's funny. Laugh.
I did. You take an alpha break?
Oh, dude, he's been popping the alpha.
Okay, so now in the dirt industry, why is it all you guys got this weird lingo that you're using, and everything you do is in acronyms? Yeah, I was on my D6 and my 069 blew a hydraulic hose, so I had to hop in my B72.
I think there's, the whole heavy equipment world. We're really proud of the machines that we run.
You're really proud of the acronyms.
I know that if you walk around especially here in Pine City, in a blue collar type city, the people with Caterpillar shirts, Caterpillar hats, John Deere stuff, and I see that heavily in the equipment world, is that once you run like a cat dozer or something, you're dedicated for life.
Right.
Like, this is my personality now.
Yeah.
Sorry, but they differ in controls too, right? Like different brands of machinery. Like some got the foot pedals, some got the hand controls.
And skid steer wise, yes. All skid steers have now changed to all hand controls, electric over hydraulic. I don't really know if they make foot control ones anymore. But in excavators, you have backhoe controls and excavator controls, they call them. It originally was John Deere and Caterpillar controls for excavators.
Yeah.
But now it's ISO, International Standard Operating, and that's CAT controls. So CAT has took over. So
damn,
dude, that is unbelievable. But that's the thing. What a lot of people don't realize, if they're not from a city like this where there's a lot of blue collar people, is like there's people that are wearing the John Deere, the Caterpillar, the Carhartt, not because like it's a fashion thing. It's just like they're committed. Like,
that's a fucking life.
That's their whole personality, and that most likely is one of the most expensive T-shirts, hoodies, or hats they've ever bought.
Oh, dude, it's
because
unreal.
It comes with the machine or whatever.
Yeah,
you're at the John Deere place,
but even those people you see wearing them, they're not the owners of this equipment. Mainly, they're just operators for companies. And if I go pick up parts sometimes for my company when I'm slow, and you go into the CAT dealership. It's beautiful, by the way. It's a fucking masterpiece.
I bet. When you're working with margins of like a multi-million-dollar equipment, I couldn't even imagine how much money they're making.
Caterpillar in Burnsville, Ziegler Cat in Burnsville, it's fucking art. It's beautiful. They have a dozer in their fucking office.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
super
bougie.
cool. It's super cool. But where I was going with that is the T-shirts and everything. Super expensive. Yeah, everything's very expensive. And they're just like, oh, yeah, I just love cat. The cat.
Just advertising them,
literally,
paying them
free
money,
ads,
and then advertising them everywhere.
Merch is the craziest concept for, like, economics and everything. It's literally you're advertising for people, not only for free, you're paying them to advertise their product.
You're paying them to like make their brand a part of your identity. Mm-hmm. It's like let me use that. Let me use that for a little bit. I'll pay you for it.
I do want to be clear. I'm not like dead set on certain brands or like.
That's what I was going to ask.
Especially in equipment, but I will say Caterpillar is far superior to any other brand that I've ran.
Dude.
Okay. Do you want me to break it down?
Yes. I would love you to.
John Deere has the best cabs. They're the most luxurious and operator friendly. They have refrigerators in their tractors.
Seriously?
Yeah. In the excavators, they have the AC and everything. The cup holder has an AC vent that keeps your drink cold, and it has a little box that the AC goes through, so you put your sandwiches and shit in there, keeps everything cold all day. And that's John Deere. Cat's cabs are pretty underwhelming. They're very bare minimum. They're comfortable, but Cat is like work-wise, super efficient, super fast, fucking powerhouse equipment.
It's the Chevy. It's the Chevy of the heavy equipment world, Chevys don't have the best electronics. They're not the most luxurious vehicles.
No, Chevy's interiors are very underwhelming. I've always felt that way.
But she'll get you 300,000 miles.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yeah.
What's the vortex of the machine world? What's the shit that's still out there just screaming?
I don't think Vortex very good.
Real, dude.
Well,
I mean, hear me out. You don't. What other?
That'd be a cat, honestly. Okay, so when people talk about dozers, they'll usually say a cat. Getting the cat. That's what a dozer is. Get the cat. That's what it's known as. Just like skid steers. It's a bobcat.
Yep.
Even if it's not a bobcat, it's a bobcat. That's what it's known as. It's pretty crazy. A vice grip. That's a brand. Everyone knows it as a vice grip.
What?
Yeah. Kleenex. Pop-Tart.
Someone is here now. They're in the dark. It's freaking me out.
That is weird.
Dude, that's...
Yeah, I thought it was a ghost.
I got to come back to this. Vice grip is not the name of it. Wow. Dude, that's wild. I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, that's just a brand.
Shit.
But
you
I
learn
think
something
they kind
new
of
every day.
originated it. And I think that's the same with Caterpillar. They're kind of really made the way for dozers. And nothing else touches Caterpillar and dozer-wise. Like, John Deere's, everyone that I have, like, finished cat operators and everything, they're just, John Deere's for the farmers. They're meant to be on the farm. They're not meant to be in
Because is it a comfort thing versus actual utility?
No utility. I hate John Deere dozers.
Damn.
I do. They suck. We have had a
Hot
lot
take.
of issues with. We've had a lot of issues with ours.
You're gonna get a lot of these farmers in the comments pretty pissed off.
Well, it's
here.
for the farmers. So
Hey,
that's
he was
fine.
shouting out the farming equipment.
It's for the farmers.
Farmers, they'll be for it.
Yeah.
Does Cat make a hell of a combine? I don't think so.
They make the It's not called Cat, but they do make a very high end combine.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, obviously on your job site, you're running a lot of really expensive equipment.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the top dollar item on the job site? Like what's the one machine where it's like, do not mess this one up? Like this is a big bill.
Well, I'd really hope that all my operators think that way, to not mess anything up. But everything's extremely expensive when you do stuff. But the dozers and the hoes are the most, half a mil or more probably each.
How many guys are you in charge of when you're on a job
Usually
site?
run a crew of like 10 people.
What is that like as you've now worked your way up in the ranks? You started as the grunt guy and now you're the foreman. What is like that transition period? Is it weird that you got like guys double your age that you're bossing around?
I don't think it's weird. It might be weird to them. I don't think they really make it known. It's more weird to me because I dodge around how to interact with them and like how to. Most foremans, when I started, they're yelling at you. You're doing something wrong. Do it this way. This is how I want it done. And for me, these guys have been doing it for 25 years and I've been doing it for 5. Like it's a big difference. And
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I'm on 7 years now. But I'm saying when I first became foreman, so it's hard for me to go to an operator and say, you're doing this wrong. I want you to do this differently, and because I've had operators and they got fired because they were not team players. Everything in the dirt world, at least my company, we're heavily on teamwork. That's how every job should be ran. We all work together and we're all going for the common goal of getting the job done. And if a person does not want to fit into that team, then they're gone.
Damn. So now, obviously, you've been on both sides of this equation, and this is always a hot topic on just the podcast going way back. Time off. If a guy wants to just take vacation, now that you're in a position of power and you've been on the other side, how do you deal with that when people ask for all this time off and you don't want to give it to them?
I handle it a hell of a lot different than the way that I was taught, I guess. I mean, when I came in, I was groomed. Not in a sexual manner, but
so how
your
were
21st birthday was a huge deal at my company.
Really?
Not at the company as a whole, but between me and my foreman, I was pretty lit up, and my other coworkers, other foremen had to stick up for me because, I was leaving right after work to go to your 21st birthday in North Dakota. It was a Friday, and my foreman came to me at 5 p.m. and said, "Don't make any plans. We're working tomorrow." I said, "I already have plans. I'm going to North Dakota." Like, "No, you're working. You're working. You're not, you're going to be here tomorrow." And I started shutting down. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I have to work. This is what I have to do." Like he ingrained a certain mentality into me. And this is how all the older people are, that work is your life. You're there to work. My old foreman, he was incredible at his job. He was awesome, but he was single. He didn't have kids. Work was his life. 100% of his life was work.
That's how my dad is. He will be on his deathbed and he'll be getting up for work, and he definitely pushed that on me. Like if I was sick for school, he would be upset with me. He would he would take my temperature himself to make sure I'm not faking it. And it kind of fucked me up because now I feel guilt whenever I'm actually sick and I have to call in or I can't make it in.
Yeah.
I feel this sense of guilt, like, oh, I'm letting everybody down.
But that's good though. That's work ethic. He ingrained work ethic into you, that you don't take small excuses to not work. You're not going to dip out. I did not take a sick day. I did not call in sick for work for 6 years until COVID happened, and I got sick and they told me to stay home because they didn't want me around anybody just in case it was COVID. And that was the first time, or else when I was running hoe, I was at work puking out of the excavator. I called him on the way there. I'm like, "I don't know if I can do this. I'm really sick." And my foreman at the time was like, can you just, we don't have anybody else to run. Can you just come see how it is? And like this, I'll let you go home a little early. And in between trucks, I'm puking out of the excavator. Every time I'm drinking something, I'm puking right after.
So obviously being sick is a little bit different, but you were obviously brought up in the industry where you do not, in the summer, like when you're expected to be here, you are always expected to be here. And I think that's pretty standard across any trade, especially on bigger jobs.
Yeah.
But now how do you handle that when the people come up to you that you're managing and they say, hey, I just feel like taking this Friday off? Or have you ever had that?
Yeah, it's the middle of the July, busy as fuck.
Okay,
are those just the people where you're like, okay, yeah, just go home. Actually, just don't come back.
If it's really busy and they're asking for shit like really dumb shit, like, I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. I want to say the whole stigma behind it is because in heavy equipment in the dirt world, we're seasonal. You're not moving dirt and you're not doing things in the winter. So we are laid off in the winter for like 2-3 months. And that is what's ingrained in everybody, that is when you do your things.
Yep,
that's when you go on vacation. That's when you do your doctor's appointments. That's when you change your ID.
It's so crazy.
That's when you do everything. You do not do that in the summer.
He's 100% right, dude. It's crazy. That's how it is. You got the winter. Why do you need this time off?
Exactly.
Why do you... A lot of companies, you have to be quiet about telling them that they can't go to the doctor, but they want to be like, I don't give a fuck about your dentist appointment. Yeah. We got dirt to move, brother.
The last couple years, we have kind of mellowed out, kind of slowed down a little bit. Housing, with the interest rates going up and stuff, housing's kind of, it has like completely collapsed for us, at least for dirt work wise. The housing developments are done. So we have pivoted into different forms of work now. But so I give them leniency, and talking to my manager, like when I first started, I was playing hardball with them, like, no, you don't take time, and then talking to my manager, like, no, go for it. If they want the day, go for it. So now I will give guys a Friday before Deere opener, if
really?
They want.
But then you run into that problem, like, well, fucking Cody got last Friday off.
Well, and that's the issue too, is we're blessed in this certain economy that we're able to do that, but don't get used to it. I don't want you to be used to, the end of the year we were cut to 4 10s and an 8. Mm-hmm. And it's like, don't get used to these hours. I don't, or else they get lazy. Like, we're going to ramp back up, and I want you to be ready for that again,
So how do you mitigate that? You just explain to them when they do get this special circumstance, like, hey, don't get used to this. This is not going to happen.
I mean, I don't really explain it. I guess I hope that they don't get. But I've already had it. I've had some guys where they're like, "Oh fuck, we're working 12 today." Like, I don't. It's like,
you're like, "Do you not want to be here?"
It's like the first 3 years I was here. That's all we did was 5 12s. Like, come on, what are you doing?
So the classic is always the guys that do the least amount of work, or that miss work the most, or don't want to work, are always the first people to get laid off for the year, right? Like, the idea is to keep your good guys, your core guys, working longer so they have more money, right?
Yeah, so when I was turning 21, your ID expires when you turn 21, and you have to renew it then. You can't renew it the winter before,
right?
Because it's going to expire when you turn 21, because they switched the whole ID. It's different.
Yep.
And I told my foreman, I'm like, hey, I have to try to get out here early. I got to go renew my license. And he literally told me, he's like, this is shit you should be doing in the winter. This is what we look at when we start. This is what we look at when we're calling people back and laying people off. This is what we look at.
Well, Tyler had to get a new ID, so I guess he's the one to go.
And that's where my other coworkers had to go to him and be like, hey, dude, I have been the youngest person in our grading side of things. The pipe crews and stuff, they have some younger people, but I've been the youngest guy for 7 years there. So all these older guys have kind of always taken care of me and kind of showing me the ropes and stuff. And
groomed
back then,
you, if you will.
Yeah, groomed me. Literally, yeah. They kind of like stick up for me if certain things are going bad, because I'm an extremely passive person and submissive. So especially in the workplace, I was always, yes, man, do whatever I can to move up and make sure everybody's happy and to move up. And obviously it worked. Yeah. I've always had the idea of, it's not about what you know, it's about who you blow. But
true enough.
And it worked for me. I 100% will say that. I sucked up and I told everybody.
It paid off.
It did. I was very clear with everybody in the company of where I wanted to be at, and I wanted to be more.
You must give one hell of a Hummer, brother.
Dude, I'll show you, dog.
So, I'm sorry. I've been cutting you off, man.
No, I'm just rambling. I'm not even answering the questions. So, yeah.
I would just love for you to bring us through, a day in the life. Let's just put you in the middle of summer so it's not slow season.
Yep.
You show up to the job, you have a morning breakdown. How do you get things going in the morning?
So, middle of the summer is usually, we're in the absolute heat of moving a shit ton of dirt. So it's just, for me, it's, you show up, I set up the GPS base, get all the guys rolling, tell them what I want to do and like the order of things we're going to do the day in, complete this task, then move to doing this task and kind of give them a rundown, and I'll run through it throughout the day, but just so that everybody has in their mind of what we're going to be switching to so that they can prepare themselves too. Like, yeah, I like being very transparent with everybody on the crew of where my thought process is, because then these guys that have been doing it way longer than me can give input back to on like, yeah, that's a great idea, but maybe we should do it a little bit different, tackle it differently, and I'm always up for.
So you don't let your ego get into the way of like, because that's how I said to do it.
No,
that's why we're doing it this way.
Not yet. Give me 5 years, and I think I will be.
Once you get a decade under your belt,
right? Mm-hmm. When you get some young buck that just doesn't know, and you're already picking holes in whatever they're saying. Yeah, you're definitely going to be like, no, listen, just stop wasting this effort. Like, we're just going to start this right now.
And I have had to do that with excavator operators before.
Really?
Yeah. Because
how does that go? Because obviously, you're like you said, you're one of the youngest guys there. So the dynamic is you're not only my manager, but you're also younger than me.
I had this guy. It was the first job I ever ran. And we just hired this new excavator operator, and he came from a different company. And his whole life is dirt, and he's the best. This is one thing that I found out. If they brag at how good of an operator they are, they fucking suck. They are not good at all. They talk about it. They're not about it. And this guy, it was every time you talk to him, he would tell you how he's been running excavator for 15 years. That's everything he'd say. But the guy would take forever to load a truck, super slow, not setting himself up between trucks. And I had to go to him. I said, I don't want to see you stop moving. You always be moving, preparing yourself for the next scoop, throwing it in the truck. You need to cut your times in half, like it's just, and that was kind of the only time, and he got fired. So that's fine.
Mission accomplished.
He pissed the manager off. He didn't piss me off. He went higher. But oh boy, where did that even come from? What was the question?
Cody asked some stupid question that
was
so
he
forgettable.
Was talking about like what you look at for layoff and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we do layoff is when we start slowing down, we will get all the guys together and ask volunteer layoff if somebody wants to take it. And I will say I have looked at the people that are begging to be laid off
differently.
I won't give them hours. Like
really? Yeah. But that's what they
if they want to be laid off.
Yeah, they want to be laid off, but I'll look at it in the middle of summer as you don't want it at the end of summer. What's different now? You know?
Yeah, you want the guys that are giving it their all the time.
Take it when you can get it. Take the hours anytime you can get it. That's what I love to see, anytime it's there.
So you're moving a lot of dirt. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've seen some shit. Have you ever ran into anything when you're moving that dirt around? Anything crazy?
I have had one job in Rosemount, and we were digging out there. And this was before I was foreman. I was just running truck back then. But it was an old construction guy owned the property. In old farmers, we run into this all the time. The old farming mentality was you buried your trash. You buried old buildings. Mm-hmm. That's what you did. You burned trash and you buried it. Whatever. It was common knowledge. They used to just dump drain oil into the ground. That's how you handled it.
You imagine how much water, groundwater, has been contaminated with just dumping that stuff randomly.
I remember I seen an old ad in a newspaper it was an ad of how to get rid of drain oil. And it's like dig a hole, put 3-inch minus rock, peat gravel, and then you dump it into the hole, and that's supposed to filter the oil into the ground.
Oh my gosh.
That was how they handled drain oil.
There's barely any water in it as it is.
No.
Like what?
No.
Just straight up dumping chemicals into the ground.
Yeah, it's just changing of times.
Yeah,
but yeah, this one job in Rosemount, we were digging and just trash holes everywhere. Every time you're just running into trash holes. I think we had
because it was an old farmyard.
Yeah, it was old, and the guy had a construction company too. So it was concrete curb, barns. We found a car there. burial site of horses. There was probably 10 horses buried
Jesus
out there.
Christ.
Yeah, it was just a pit of bones, like with the skin still on it and shit. Like really creepy.
What? Like they were perfectly preserved?
Not perfectly preserved, but they weren't completely decomposed. Like they're still.
That's got to be the creepiest shit you've ever fucking seen, dude.
That is the creepiest I've ever seen. Yeah, I've ever seen, not heard, but yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you deal with it. Everyone who's been in dirt work long enough, I feel like encounters bones that they don't know if are human or potentially a body. Obviously, we know you have a good story. You've told it on here before, but I think it's been long enough. Are you comfortable with maybe rattling through it one more time?
I can rattle through it again. I will. I just want to say before I say the story is that I do. Part of me really hopes I find a body one day, and the statistics behind me finding one is very high. The odds, I should say, not statistics, whatever. But the odds of me finding one is really high because of the amount of dirt that we move. You know, just Indian burial grounds and shit are everywhere. But yeah. So I was on a job down in Elko, New Market, southern Minnesota, and I'm just sitting there, kind of chilling out. It was kind of the middle of the day. We're winding down. My guys are just completely self-sufficient. Whatever. I'm just hanging out, and this guy comes in on a golf cart, and he's got one arm, super dirty farmer, you know, comes up on a golf cart, and he comes up to me, and he's just bullshitting with me. And he's like, yeah, there's an old lady buried behind the house. There's one house on the property. So it was a farm. It was a farmstead land. And this is, when we come on to jobs, it's always farms. That's when I get there, it's cornfields, hay fields and stuff. And this job, it had a house, and usually they demo the house and we take everything off, completely change the whole entire site. Well, they were keeping this house. They were dead set. That house is not getting touched. Nothing's going to change about it. And this guy comes up and he's like, yeah, there's an old lady buried behind the house. I can show you where it is. I'm like, yeah, show me. And he goes back there. He's like, yeah, it's right here between the propane tank and the garage. And he's pointing right at the ground. And it's like the one part of the whole job that I'm not touching. Like I'm not supposed to dig there. And
so you don't know if there is or not.
And I'm like, fuck. The one spot that I can't just go dig a hole and see if there's an old lady buried here. Like, yeah. If it was anywhere else on the site, I would have just taken a hoe and dug a hole just to see. And I would have been like, yeah, I was just doing a test hole, seeing how the dirt is, you know, and found a body.
So now what happens after that? Guy, this crazy dude comes up and tells you there's a body here. Your reaction is what?
I was just kind of hyped up. I thought it was hilarious. I have a Snapchat of him driving away on the golf cart.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
It's just a crazy experience.
It was crazy. It was wild. I'm sitting there bewildered. I thought it was
like
hilarious.
A movie scene.
It was. And I went to the other guys on my job site and told them the story of how funny. I thought it was hilarious. Like, it's small town bullshit, you know? Well, the next day, a city council member just stopped in. It's a small town, and nothing has happened in a long time. It's like the first growth they've really had, so everyone's curious, just stopping in.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and he's like, hey, have you had any trouble with neighbors at all? I'm like, well, I had one guy ask me if I found his lost cat, and another guy told me there's a dead lady buried behind the house. Like, just, you know, casually saying it as a joke, like hard hitting, but like just really off-putting. Like, it's funny to me. And they thought it was crazy, but then all of a sudden the cops showed up later that day. This city council member was a fucking snitch and went to the cops, told the cops that I said this. So they came out there, asked me my whole story behind it. And I'm like, dude, it was just a joke. I didn't think anything of it. And they're like, yeah, we usually would put this as like just people talking and bullshitting. But this man you described is a very well-known guy in the community. He's very trusted, and he doesn't usually spread rumors and lies. So we're going to look into this. So then I had the DA called me, and they were so the big reason why they really trusted this guy is he grew up in the house right across the street. And I'm not making this short at all. I'm really going into it.
I'm loving this.
No, yeah. You don't have to make it short.
Yeah, so all week we're just talking about it. We're hyped. It was so much excitement on the job site, you know. And the detectives, we've seen detectives, you know, briefcases, black vans and shit go to this house across the street. He grew up there, so they went there. They were questioning them, their stories and everything. And they were there for hours and hours talking to him. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And then right after they come over to me, they said, all right, yeah, here's the deal. We're going to look into it. We're probably going to dig the body up tomorrow. And I just went to him and I said, here's the deal. If you're digging that body up, I want to do it. Can I dig this body up? They're like, you want to do it? And I point, and we got massive excavators, like Cat 349. You told me people talk in letters, but it's
Love that model number, brother.
It's a 100,000 pound excavator, and I'm like, I could dig up an old bitch in 3 scoops with that thing. That's what I told the cops. I was messing with them. They're like, okay, all right, if you want to do it, And then when they left, I'm like, oh shit, this is real. So I call my manager. I haven't told him about any of this situation. I'm like, and I'm just explaining it to him. I'm like, okay. So Monday, this is Wednesday now. I'm like, so Monday, a guy came out, told me there was a lady buried behind the house. And then I told another person, then they called the cops. Then the cops are out here and they want to dig up a body. Can I get an excavator to do this? So he's like, what the fuck are you doing out there, dude? I can't leave you alone at all. He's like, you get yourself into the craziest situation. So he's like, yeah, let me know if they're digging up. I'll haul you in an excavator, whatever. Then the DA calls me, tells me, don't talk to the press. Don't let this get out at all. We don't want, because this is a small town. It's going to be a big deal if they know we're looking for a body out here. So I didn't say nothing. I'm like, wow, this is real. This is fucking real. So it's Thursday morning. We're digging up the body today, and I'm waiting for a call. Right away in the morning, the detectives are over at the house again. And I'm just waiting for a call. They were there for like 4 hours. The husband, the old guy of the house comes out, and he's sitting on his lawn chair in the front yard. The detectives are in there talking to his wife, and he's just sitting there. He looks pissed off. I'm like, what is going on? I just want to know. I'm pumped.
Were you ever nervous that he was like, he knows it was me that told, obviously?
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious I'm the one that opened my mouth. I thought it was a joke, I didn't think it would progress to large amounts of government officials looking into this shit.
That's crazy. You got detectives on your job site.
Yeah. So the detectives then all of a sudden they come over to my job. They pull up to me, and they're looking at me straight face, and they're like, "All right, here's the deal. There's not an old lady buried behind the house. There's actually a whole family buried behind the house." And I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to shut you down for a little while until we can figure this out." And I'm like, "Oh shit." And we're just sitting there straight faced looking at them. And they're like, "Nah, we're just fucking with you. There's nothing. There's nobody behind the house."
Dude, you got me just now. Yeah. I'm sitting here like, "Whoa,
dude, they had me sweating because like my manager just found out that this whole shit's blowing up, getting crazy. I need to get the job done, and now all of a sudden I'm getting shut down because my fucking big mouth got the goddamn cops out here somehow." So I was all worried about it. And they just read my vibe. The day before I told them I'd dig up an old bitch in 3 scoops. Like, I'm messing around. I'm making a joke.
They were like, we know we can fuck with this dude.
They knew I could mess with me, and they got me so damn good. They were laughing their ass off. So it's fun that, when cops mess with you, it's such a good time.
It's weird. It like triggers something different. And I'm like, oh, wow, this guy doesn't suck. Yeah, I actually want to keep talking to him.
You never think that they will interact with you.
Because when I interact with the cop, my whole thing is, how do I not talk to this cop? How do I get out of this situation?
Get it over with.
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
So the whole ending of the story was after they fucked with me, they told me that they tracked down everybody in the family and they found the remains of everyone and nobody was missing. So they had no reason to believe that someone was back there because they found the old lady that was supposedly buried.
We still don't know for sure yet, though.
No, we don't. But then they told me, so the whole ordeal is the one-armed guy grew up across the street with his parents, and the mom apparently would watch this guy, and the mom died. The old lady died, and she seen him like the next day digging a hole with a skid steer behind the house, and she just made this wild story that he buried the mom behind the house and told his kids about it. And this one-armed guy was going around all his whole life saying that, thinking that this lady was buried back there. He truly believed. I think he fully believed that she's buried back there.
Oh, dude, that had to be like a kid, like Boo Radley, bro.
Yes, literally.
It was like the fucking tale of Boo Radley.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
Oh, dude, holy shit, bro. Even though it didn't end up into anything, that's such a good story.
It was pretty. It was a very exciting week of my life. Very exciting.
When you got up that morning before work and you thought there's a chance you're digging a dead body today, like what was that like?
Dude, my whole thought was this is going to be podcast gold. Like I knew this was going to be good. And even my manager said, he's like, I better be hearing about this on the fucking podcast this week. I'm like, oh, bet your ass you're going to hear about this. This shit's crazy, And then after they tell me, don't say anything on the press. And I'm like, motherfucker, I am the press.
I don't run the news.
Yeah.
I am the news. Oh, that's hilarious. So what did everyone else think? Were they kind of jealous that you were going to get to be the one to dig this thing up?
No, most of them thought I was crazy that I wanted to do it.
They're like, why would you even want to get involved with that?
So part of me was really excited. Like, if I was digging, looking for a body, I'd be really excited. Like, if I find something or don't find something. But I was also really had a lot of anxiety because it'd be exciting until all of a sudden I found a shoe. And then it would be hours of misery digging up a corpse, you know?
Was that
so? It would not be fun after you know there's someone there. It'd be really sad. It'd be really
the mystery is fun.
Yeah,
and then when it becomes real, it's like
it would not have been fun.
So obviously, I don't know if it was you or it was one of our other friends that used to be involved with doing basements, but have you found bones before that you didn't know what the bones belonged to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I find bones quite often, just random bones. I just found bones on my property, actually, last week.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, actually, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
So it obviously wasn't you then. It was one of our friends I remember talking to, and then them saying they actually thought it might have been a human femur that they had found. And so it ended up to be, I want to say it was like a horse bone or something like that resembled some human bone, and it was fragmented, so it was only part of it. And there was reason to believe that it was a human bone. So like you said, they spent the next, I want to say it was like a week, digging the whole site, trying to find a body or at least more bones to identify what was there. You ever heard any stories like that?
I don't think that was me. But when I used to do basements and I dug up just like a basement slab and I found like kids' shoes and clothes.
Dude, how creepy.
Underneath the slab. And I thought that was really fucking creepy. I'm like, there's some ghosts or something.
Creepy as hell.
Yeah. Like I found this kid's shoe, you know, like a really, really old child's shoe underneath the foundation of a person's house. I'm like, this is fucking weird.
That's so crazy because then your first thought is like, okay, now where's the kid?
Literally. Yeah.
So like what a lot of people don't realize is like a lot of places rural like this, small towns, people used to have like basements that were just dirt floors. Mm-hmm. And so my wife, I remember her saying that like as a child, their family used to just bury cats, dogs, whatever, in their basement.
What the fuck?
Like it was a dirt floor basement. They used to just bury their animals in the basement.
Wait, Taylor, your wife was saying this is what happened when she was a kid, or her parents?
No, when she was a kid, she grew up in an old farmhouse.
Dude, that's not normal, no matter who you are.
No,
bro.
you're asking for demons.
That's like, fucking weird.
Get this. I mean, put the bodies a little bit away from the house, not in your house.
Well, and that's the thing too. She said like cats would use it just as a litter box, so they just like go down there and use the basement floor.
God,
you know,
so
and you
gross.
just bury all the stuff.
Damn, that's wild, bro.
Sam's a big cat guy.
Yeah, don't you be talking shit like that.
You ever get any service animals on the job site? You ever get any guys, any operators that are like, oh, I gotta have this dog with me.
I gotta have my service cat.
Dude, I've had a couple operators that were dogs, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they'd be barking. Yeah, no. There's a truck drivers.
That yet.
Dump truck drivers. They usually have dogs. There's some people that have dogs that ride with them all day.
Dude,
and stuff.
Here's the thing that people don't understand. Truck drivers live a whole different lifestyle than anyone else that you know.
Yeah,
I've seen some truck drivers that got whole home setups inside their rigs. We talking PlayStations, we're talking TVs, we're talking massage chairs, foot warmers, like you name it. These guys are the pinnacle of luxury driving.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just hanging out with this guy last weekend that he's only been driving truck for 6 months. He has hit every state in the lower 48 in those 6 months.
Wow.
That's insane.
Crazy.
Wow. Everywhere. I've been everywhere and back. Across the nations.
Loaded up and trucking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Some of these guys, I mean, the whole inside of this, of the sleeper cab sometimes looks like, a tiny home, if you will. Like a super well laid out tiny home.
That's where you spend your whole day. Like, people do that in their equipment too. We keep very good care of all the operators. It's always, we sweep them out every night and they'll air fresheners.
Well, that is one thing I think people don't understand because you see like that lifestyle and that maybe just like category of person, of blue collar worker. And they just assume that their shit's going to be dirty because the outside's dirty. But I know some of these, people that I know that are truckers, dude, they treat their truck way better than their house. There's one guy that I know that has a little chunk of carpet that he takes out of his truck, puts it on the ground so he can change into his truck slippers. Says he only wears these when he drives, and he puts his regular shoes in a plastic bag so that it doesn't get the rest of the truck dirty. Like, that's how meticulous this guy keeps his truck.
Yeah, I've known operators before that they have loafers that once they get up to the hoe, they take their boots off, they put their loafers on, and then they're relaxing. You know, you talk about the truckers, it's way nicer than their house. They spend way more time in their truck or their equipment than their own house.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, when I'm in the summer when I'm working, I go home, I eat, I sleep, I'm back to work. I'm awake. When I owned a house, I was awake at my house probably 3 hours a day. Like, I'm not spending
live,
any
laugh,
time
love,
there.
eat, sleep, work, dude.
Yeah,
repeat.
That's how it is. But that's what supplies this lavish lifestyle, you know. Of
gotta get her done.
Yeah, get her done.
Actually, I was over at the Ploshik mansion over there the other day plowing, and you had your construction crew in there building your house. How is it now that you're obviously in the dirt work trade? What is that feeling like where it's like you now at your new property, you have some of the most elaborate dirt work I've ever seen at a house. Like, you did hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work for next to nothing because you did it yourself.
I moved 17,000 yards of dirt on my property in 4 days, 56 working man hours, and 500 gallons of fuel I burned through.
Jesus Christ.
That's insane to me.
It was the best feeling ever because I'm very passionate about dirt, and I think I'd love to, we're obviously going to talk more about it, but it was the only thing. Everyone that I know in the trades, they get to build a shed for themselves. They get to redo their carpet or their bathroom. You know, they get to bring their work home with them, and they can use this skill that they get at work. They can use it at home.
Yep.
For me, I can't just go home and dig a fucking hole or something because I don't have this equipment laying around. So when I got my property and what I wanted to do, I had a massive vision because I've gotten very good at reading plans and stuff and being able to visualize exactly what it's going to look like just off of a plan and stuff. And when I got to my property, I had a massive vision of what I wanted to do. And my company is incredible, and they treat their employees very well, and they really helped me out and got me equipment and got me the time. And my best dozer guy, he's retired now. I'm going to miss the hell out of him. He came and helped me for 2 days, and I just went all out. And I had other people, like local guys. I had a guy message me, and what'd he say? He was a little drunk, and he's like, just because you can doesn't mean you have to, like you're really fucking going for it.
Like you overdid your dirt work.
As foreman now, I do a lot of GPS staking and just like surveying the site and marking it all out for my people so that when I get to the job, when I come to a job, it's cornfields. It's just a bare bones field. And I usually spend a whole day, my whole first day, just setting the whole site up before my guys get there. I stake the job out, and I do different colors and mark cuts, fills, and everything so that everybody in the equipment can visualize what's going on. They can kind of see it and tell, okay, there's a road here, there's a house pads here, there's a pond here, and then, okay, we have to cut this 10 feet. We're going to fill this up 10 feet, shit like that, kind of visualize it. And that's what I did on my own property. I modeled it all myself on Trimble GPS.
Crazy.
Yeah, I walked. I walked 5 miles, and it took me 7 hours to GPS the whole site out because I just did it all by hand. I didn't have the computer to do it like my manager does. But
dude, that's insane. Could you imagine doing something like that? I mean,
dude,
like the just like
are you talking
what it
walking
takes.
5 miles?
Oh, you fucking asshole!
I thought that's where you were going.
No,
with that.
not at all.
You fucking piece of shit.
Dick,
I'm saying like to put that kind of time into
dude.
doing that. Now, I see what you're saying. That would. I didn't mean it like that, but I do apologize.
I didn't take it like that, but now I feel like that's
I
how
brought it up. Sorry, I made it a bad way.
You made it a bad way.
Yeah, I did. But my way of looking at it was I have an opportunity to finally bring my trade home. I have an opportunity to show off to everybody for the rest of my life what I do at my job. And I'm able to do that. I'm going to go all out.
It was your moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I got done, I messaged messaged my manager, like wrote him a letter about how grateful I am and all the opportunities he's given me and everything, where I'm at. I wouldn't be where I'm at in my life without him and stuff in the company. And he's like, you were given an opportunity and you took full advantage of it at work and at home now. And it's just, it's awesome. I took advantage of it and it's incredible. And I will show anybody asks me, I will show you 100. I have 400 photos of my property right now. Like every day I think I added 30 more today.
That's crazy.
There's points in my life that I didn't document or take a picture of myself for a year. And then I got this land and just hundreds of photos. All the time. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of my land and my work that I've done there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like you earned that. You earned that right to go all out on it. Yeah. Are you excited to finally, be working on something that you're going to live in potentially for years and years and years and years?
It's incredible. I already, that saying, like, you wish you knew you were in the good times when you're in them, but you only know where the good times were when you're after them.
Yeah.
I fully knew I have a vision that there's going to be one day that hopefully, I guess I have kids if I find someone dumb enough, but if that I will be going to my kids and saying, look at what this was, look at what I've created. And I've created all of this from nothing. There was not even a gate to get onto the property when I got there. And no power or nothing. And now what it is, like, completely homesteaded this piece of property. And that's a massive sense of accomplishment to me.
That's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Well, shit, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. How does it feel to be back on again now in the guest seat instead of in the host seat?
This is the guest seat. This is usually where I sat in the host seat.
Hey, training wheels
are off, brother. Training wheels are off. Well, dude, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is great.
We obviously got to have a part 2 because we got to run through different types of dirt. We got to run through all the meticulous shit.
I was gonna say we didn't even talk about my trade really at all. We really just went off on stories. We're
that's
too good.
What it's all about.
I think we're too good at friends for this.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe. Yeah,
that's it. Well, hey, as an audio listener, as a video listener, if you've made it to this part of the episode, why don't you drop what's the emoji that you want to see him put in the comments here, Tyler? A little construction worker? Is there a dozer emoji?
Oh, fuck.
I think there is. Is there not?
I've never used it.
We'll have to look at it. If you made it to this far in the episode, put a little put a construction emoji of some sort on that relates to Tyler, and we're gonna pick a random person for a free piece of merch.
Yeah.
Also, we got some new merch coming out on 420, so be on the lookout for that. We got a nice little 420 episode in the works with CPS Dave and DPK right now. So be on the lookout for that.
Spicy.
Dude, that was a great outro, man.
All right.
I think that's an amazing way to end it.
We'll see you guys next.
We need a little music to outro us,
There's a button that does it.